The newly released remake of Resident Evil 4 shares a lot in common with the original, but there are just enough differences to really throw a wrench in your plans of not being chainsawed in half. Thankfully, if you don't want to be chainsawed in half, we've assembled our RE4 fans on staff to pass on to you the best tips we know. Here are 9 combat tips for Resident Evil 4. Oh, you could be kidding me, Bob. Like any good survival horror game, ammo is precious. Aim for the head or kneecaps to stagger your enemies, and once the white marker, which is new to the remake, flashes above their head, you can hit them with a melee attack for extra damage, and more importantly, crowd control. You can also melee attack after perfect parrying with your knife. Just look for the symbol on the bottom right to perfect your timing. What? I had it. New to the remake are several different knife skills. Parrying, stealth kills, downed enemy attacks, and auto-escapes from enemy engagements will all inflict a small hit to your knife's durability, but your combat knife can be repaired by visiting the merchant. If you have other knives than your combat knife equipped, they will break permanently before automatically switching back to your combat knife, so manually equip these breakable knives if you want to use them first to get them out of your inventory. If you take down an enemy and the white mark appears above their head while they're still wiggling around, make sure to use your knife to finish them off quickly. Otherwise, they'll come back in their bent neck form, or later in the game, as their much more dangerous Las Plagas form. In the OG RE4, you had to ready your knife before attacking with it. You can still do that in the remake, but you can also just press the weapon fire button without aiming anything first to start slashing away. Readying it before pressing the weapon fire button will perform a quick stab, while just pressing the fire button without aiming will do a slower but wider slash. And, if you think you're fast enough, a quick stab to the eyes will stagger your enemies enough for a melee attack, just like a headshot. These different knife actions will all degrade the knives by drastically varying amounts. Things like the aforementioned stabs, slashes, and parries will only hurt the knives a little, while stealth kills and quickly escaping chokeholds will make them break a lot faster. These amounts also vary depending on which knife you're using and the amount that you've upgraded them, so keep an eye on the knife meter to see what damage exactly you're doing to your equipment, to decide if saving a little bit of your health is worth the massive hit to durability. Traps return in this remake with a few differences. Enemies can set bear traps mid-battle, and also get caught in them, so use that to your advantage to thin out the herd a little bit. And if you don't want to deal with them, slash or poke at them with your knife to set them off safely. You can also deactivate tripwire traps by crouch walking towards them and interacting, rather than having to shoot them like the first game. You can, however, shoot them after the fact to still harm your enemies. More than just doing damage, a big part of surviving in Resident Evil 4 is keeping your enemies away from and in front of you. If enemies are swarming in from all sides, quick turn using down and the sprint button and hightail it out of there. If there are bigger or more damaging enemies in the midst of the horde, they can sometimes hit the enemies around them when they swing their weapons, so pick away at stragglers, or even melee them back into the group so the big baddies can do double duty. If you're being harassed by the dynamite throwing enemies, you can blow them up even before the dynamite is lit by shooting the sticks in their hands. And in the interest of utilizing mob mentality like the tip before, try waiting until the friends are nearby before blowing them up as a group activity. Just like the original, flash grenades do major damage to exposed Las Plagas bodies, so anytime you see those writhing tentacles, there's a good chance your flash grenade will kill them outright. Hopefully these combat tips make you a force to be reckoned with in the dilapidated villages of Resident Evil 4's Europe. Have any game wisdom you want to impart? Make sure to leave it in the comments below, and while you're here, check out our review of Resident Evil 4. And for everything else gaming, keep it right here on IGN. Whoa. Help me. Get up.